They were dancehall's first dynamic duo, until one shocking moment tore them apart. The truth about Michigan and Smiley's sudden split will leave you speechless. Stick around to 420 when we reveal the real reason Island Records buried their career. You'll never hear Rub a Dub Style the same way again. Anthony Fairclough had a smile that could ignite the Kingston night, but it was never just a smile. It was the voice, the rhythm, the defiance wrapped in melody. He called himself Papa Michigan. His partner, Errol Bennett, wore a stern face and bore the moniker General Smiley, a contradiction that mirrored the duality of their sound, joyful yet militant, carefree yet conscious. In a Jamaica saturated with solo toasters and roots rock rebels, they emerged not as individuals, but as a force, a tandem of sonic revolutionaries who shattered tradition by doing what no one else dared, speaking as one. Theirs was the voice of the first dancehall duo, the first pair to challenge the sacred solo stage and conquer together. In the late 1970s, reggae stood at a threshold. The golden age of Studio One had faded beneath the rising wave of new Jamaican studios like Channel One and Harry J, and with them came fresh voices and edgier sounds. But from the ashes of ska and rocksteady's golden glory, a rebirth stirred. Studio One, seeking relevance, found itself drawing from a wellspring of archive rhythms rather than chasing new instrumentals. This rebirth found its champions in the most unlikely of heroes. Two high school boys from Union Gardens who had turned sound system corners into classrooms and lyrical banner into art. Their names, Papa Michigan and General Smiley, would soon be chanted across the Caribbean and beyond. Their chemistry was electric. While others took turns toasting verses like polite dancers switching partners, Michigan and Smiley toured through convention with their exhilarating call and response style. It wasn't just a performance. It was conversation, improvisation, theatrical timing dressed in tracksuits, gold chains, and fedora hats. They weren't merely toasting. They were reimagining what a duo could be in a genre that had never seen one before. As the only DJ duo in the country, they were novelties, but they were also prophets of a new rhythmic language. Theirs was a divine accident. While other artists hustled to be heard, their path unfolded through proximity, talent, and sheer timing. Their connection to the Black Harmony sound system brought them within reach of Studio One's revival, and when Coxsone Dodd, the legendary godfather of Jamaican production, heard them, he didn't hesitate. The studio, once king but long dormant, opened its doors to the young duo. Michigan and Smiley were handed not just beats but history, the classic rhythms of the past repurposed as a canvas for their future. In 1979, Rub a Dub Style erupted into the Jamaican airwaves like a thunderclap. It wasn't just a hit, it was a resurrection. The song's infectious rhythm, paired with their agile vocal interplay, ignited dance floors and radio stations alike. The track shot to #1, and suddenly Studio One was once again the pulse of the island, breathing with new energy, pulsing to the chants of two voices made one. The duo followed it with Nice Up the Dance and Jah the Creator, cementing their dominance not only in the charts but in the consciousness of generations searching for rhythm amidst political unrest. At the same time, they were not just writing rhythms. They were reshaping cultural style. Their fashion sense became an identity. Their swagger, their synchronized movements, the blend of smiles and stoicism. They were more than musicians. They were icons. And by the time they entered Bob Marley's sanctuary at 56, Hope Road and laid vocals at Top Gong Studios for One Love Jam Down. They had risen from dancehall prospects to prophets of the genre's global future. That track stayed at #1 for 3 months. It became the heartbeat of the year. Island Records took notice and prepared to unleash Michigan and Smiley to the world. But just as their wings began to spread, the wind beneath them suddenly stilled. For reasons that remain murky, label politics, market confusion, or simple negligence, Island shelved their music. The opportunity for international superstardom was frozen in corporate silence. But the fire that Michigan and Smiley had sparked refused to extinguish. In 1981, under producer Henry Junjo laws, they recorded Diseases, a seismic track warning sinners in the spiritually careless of divine wrath. It was not only musically revolutionary, but socially accepted. When a polio outbreak struck Jamaica in 1982, whispers and rumors turned their song into a scapegoat. Resizes, They called it. The track had been too powerful, too prophetic, and they were blamed, condemned not for what they did, but for what their music had the power to stir. Yet even as controversy raged, their creative fire burned on. That year they released Downpression and step-by-step albums. It showcased a range of their lyrical artillery, from social commentary to infectious party anthems. They capped the year with a fierce performance at the Reggae Sunsplash, holding their own among the legends of Roots and Rub-a-Dub. But while the stage roared with applause, the country beneath it was in chaos. Jamaica, battered by the political violence of the 1980 elections and suffocating under economic strain, watched its children flee. Migration became salvation. General Smiley, disillusioned and exhausted, joined the diaspora and settled in California. The duo, for the first time, was split not by quarrel, but by the toll of the times. Distance proved a quiet thief. Though they released the album Sugar Daddy in 1983, the strain of living continents apart stretched their creative unity. They began to walk different paths. Solo projects trickled out, sporadic, heartfelt, but missing the synergy that had once defined them. For 7 years, their sound simmered quietly until the release of Back in the Biz in 1990. It was a triumphant echo from the past, a reminder of their rhythm and rhyme. But lightning does not always strike twice, and the momentum could not be rekindled in full. Still, they pressed on. In 1992, Reality Must Rule Again emerged, followed by Uptown Downtown in 1995. But after that, the album ceased, not the spirit, not the performances, but the recordings. Rumors swirled. Whispers in the reggae press declared the end of Michigan and Smiley. But the men themselves never uttered such a final word. To them, the bond was never broken. The music may have paused, but the unity endured. Michigan remained rooted in Jamaica, diving into music and even acting ventures, while General Smiley kept the torch blazing in California's reggae circuits. Their paths still crossed. At least twice a year, they would reunite on stage, arms raised, voices locked in rhythmic communion, proving to every doubter that the fire never died. The legacy they crafted remains etched in dancehall's foundation. They were the blueprint for every duo that followed. Clint Eastwood and General Saint, Shaka Demus and Pliers, and countless others owe a creative debt to the path Michigan and Smiley carved. They were the first. Not the first to chant, but the first to do so together, interlocked, inseparable, perfectly synchronized. And so, what happened to Michigan and Smiley? The answer lies not in silence, but in echoes. Their voices still bound through the sound systems of memory, their lyrics etched into the DNA of Jamaican music. Though the industry moved on, they never really left. Like echoes from a dance hall still blazing beneath the moonlight, they return, sometimes in person, always in legend. What part of Michigan and Smiley's story hit you hardest? Was it the silence, the separation, or the legacy that refuses to fade? Drop your thoughts in the comments and tell us if you think they should make one final return to the studio. And if dancehall legends like this move your spirit, be sure to subscribe. More powerful stories are on the way.